Oh, wow!
Alright guys, that there gives you a few good slaps. This is the warning I'm going to give you before we go any further into the video. You saw what I just showed you on these clips. Be careful, because that will happen to you if you stand too close to somebody and it's their first bite of the stuff. That's just my disclaimer I'm putting in this video, okay? You've been warned. Hey guys, Eric here with Project DIY. This video here, I'm going to show you my secret recipe, how I make my jerky. Look, this stuff is so good. Be careful. Unless it's somebody you want to, don't eat this stuff the first few bites at least, because you might want to slap somebody.
Do bundle up, it's awfully cold outside. Pardonnez-moi, mon chéri.
Those of you all who have ate my jerky, please put in the comments below how good it is. It's not just me saying this, it is very, very good stuff. You can do this with beef if you want. I've never done it, but you can. I've always done it with deer. You could do either one of them. Follow, I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to show you the recipe, and this video is a little lengthier than what a lot of mine are, but I'm showing you the full process of what I do. So if you're just wanting to maybe find a good marinade and that part, that's fine, but if you want to watch the whole thing through, and it kind of gives you an idea too. Jerky is not something that just you pop it in, you're done. It is a little bit of a long process. It takes several days to do the whole entire thing, and I want to show you guys how that works. So I hope you all check this out. Hey guys, if you would, share the video, like the video, hit that notification bell. It helps us out a lot. We appreciate you guys watching. Guys, I hope you enjoy the video and watch the whole thing through, and we appreciate y'all very much. All right, got our meat that we're going to be making our jerky with. We're just going to lay it all out here. What I do, what makes it easier, I haven't bought one, I'm going to be buying one. Get your meat slicer. A, it's quicker, and B, it keeps everything the same thickness. When doing this by hand, I try to keep it as as uniform as possible, but you're not going to keep every single piece completely the same when you're doing it that way. But this way here works. This way I've always done it. But I am going to be buying me a slicer here soon. When I do, I'll maybe put a video up on how well it performs. So maybe if you're interested, you could check that out yourself. But here's what we're going to do. Lay these up here, and then I'll cut them all nice and thin. Just get you a good sharp knife. And then what we're going to do, just take and cut. Just try, like I said, there's no way you're going to keep everything 100% the same width doing it by hand, but just close. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it here in this little piece. Then I'm going to rinse as much blood off as I can. And then we'll put it in some different pans. I'll show you a little bit in a minute. We'll put some different pans with some salt water for the first day. And then we'll go from there on, and I'll show you what to do after that as well. What I like to do is get as much blood off of it as you can. I just put it in here and just keep turning it. You're not going to get it all out, but that's what our next process with the salt water is for. You may not have a bowl or a strainer just like this, but if you can find one like this, it actually is quite nice. It fits over top of your countertop, holds it in place. So there's what we got so far. I'm probably going to start going to another bowl next. So what we'll have here is, here in a minute, I'll fill this up with water. And then I will put some salt in there. There's no exact amount that I put in there, but that's our next step. And we'll probably start another bowl. All right, we've got our jerky out of the fridge now. We've been letting it sit in salt water overnight. Here's our here's the 3 bowls we have of it. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna put it back in here. I'm gonna re-rinse it off. For one, because I gotta use these bowls to get my marinade in, so I need to get the deer out so I get the marinade in the bowl that I want, and it helps get any extra salt rinsed off that doesn't need to be there, and also helps get even more blood out, because what you can see in the water, it's taken a lot of that out, and that's why we soaked it in salt water. So now we're going to do that, get the marinades ready, and we'll let that soak for a day, and then we will dehydrate. So let's get this here transported over. I'm going to pour everything in the bowl. Then what I do, this is a marinade for 5 pounds, so I'm going to pour this in here. Then what I do is I put as much meat in there as it will allow that covers it. And once that, I don't weigh it, no, I don't worry about it, just as long as it covers it. And then I'll pop the lid on it. Then we're going to set it in the fridge for a day, and then it'll be showtime after that. follow this recipe and it will work perfectly. Guys, there is the recipe. People have asked me, I've never given it away, but I have now. Follow it. Those of you who have ate my jerky, hey, put some comments on here. Let people know how good it is. I'm not just saying this, I'm not trying to brag, but it is very tasty. Every single recipe is good. It's sometimes kind of hard to pick which one's your favorite. You try this out. Let me know in the comments section below which one you tried and which one is your favorite and how well it turned out. All right, here's our soy sauce. Here's our liquid smoke. You can have whatever flavor suits you. Doesn't matter to me, doesn't matter to the recipe. This one here is mesquite, so it doesn't matter. Whichever one, they make a few different flavors, whatever one suits your taste buds the most. All right, here's our Worcestershire sauce, or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got about 40 names for it. However you want to pronounce it, doesn't matter to me. It makes it taste good though. So, that's in.
Got some black pepper. Put that in here.
All right, next we're gonna put some Frank's Red Hot. Now this is the extra hot, but I'm showing you this because of the bottle. This is the 12 fluid ounce. Typically, I would just put one full bottle of this in, but stupid me, I forgot to buy just the regular Frank's Red Hot. That's what I used for this recipe. So I had to run out, make emergency run, and all I had was the little bottle, so I'm gonna put this in. I'm just gonna empty all 3 jars. It'll be a little bit more than the other because these are 5 ounces and this is 12, so that'll be 15, but it will be okay. And you know what? Feel free to use whatever hot sauce you like. Maybe you have a different one you really prefer. Go ahead. This is just the one I've always used, and this is the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to dump this in here. And then what I do as well is I go ahead and throw some water, a little bit of water in here, then shake it around. That way you get all of it out of it. And then also we're going to be adding a touch of water to it in a minute, so that's not going to hurt anything. So there's one. And then I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup of water. Actually, I'm going to put about 2/3. It calls for more than that, but I don't, because the more water you put in it, the more it's going to tone it down. It is not a super hot recipe. This is going to be the sweet and hot. And then the last thing we got to add is we're going to put 2 cups of brown sugar in here. And this will be finished. We'll stir it all up. Then what we'll do is we'll take the meat from here, we'll put it in here. If it'll hold all of it, great. If it won't, then we'll hold that off for another marinade. But then this will have this full, and then this is for a 5-pound recipe. This right here, this is gonna make, like I said, this is gonna be my sweet and hot. And we'll go into the other ones here in a minute. All right, and here's our brown sugar. I put 2 cups in. I just lightly pat it, okay? I don't sit and like push it down to make sure I get into everything. I just lightly pat it where it's compacted. We've got our 2 cups, we're gonna dump that in, so don't splatter on us. All right, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a whisk, take this, and we're just gonna stir everything up real good. Most everything obviously was a liquid other than the brown sugar that we put in and the pepper, so. All right, that is mixed really nice. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bowl here. We've already soaked it in our salt water. We've rinsed it as best we can. So now we're just gonna take this meat, we're gonna put it in here. And we're just gonna let it soak, and it will, obviously our water or our marinade's gonna start rising. And we're just gonna fill this up to where it still covers all the meat. So I don't know if it's gonna take all this or not, we'll see. So I do is I just take it in here and I just start pushing it down like that there, and it will cover it. And as long, I've never had a piece where anybody's ever come and said, "Oh, that piece tasted awful. It had no flavor." Doing it like this, I've done this many times. I used to take this stuff to where I used to work at and sell it. I had it sold before it even hit the door. I was usually sold out or really, really close to it. And if I didn't, those that got wind of it after the fact, I would be sold out before the end of the day. So this works, doing it this way. I've been doing it for, I don't know. I've been making this now for 5 or 6 years, maybe a little longer than that. And it always turns out well. The flavor's always really good. It's not overly sweet, but it's not overly spicy. We're gonna get into some spicier ones here in a minute.
if that's what you're looking for. But right now this is, like I said, this is the sweet and hot marinade that I have. We're gonna let this sit for a good day, if not longer, depending on how much dehydrator space I have. Got everything. All right, so I got everything in there but that there. I don't feel like trying to cram that in, because if I do, it's really gonna be putting me at the brim, and I still gotta walk downstairs and put this in the basement. And if I spill it all over the carpet, that will not be good, because I will definitely be in trouble, and I don't want to do that. So we're not gonna overfill it. We're gonna pop this lid back on. Let me rinse my hands here. Now, if you don't have a lid, I recommend covering it with something so it doesn't dry out. This one here, I have a lid to it, so we're gonna pop this lid on it. And this one will be good to sit in the fridge. If I can get the lid on there. There we go. That marinade is done. Should be ready to go to the fridge. All right, so that is the sweet and hot. Now we're going to get into, let me take my glasses off. I don't think I need them anymore. Next, what we're gonna do, we're going to do the fire recipe. Now, this is not so super hot like it's gonna burn your tongue off, but it does have a little bit more kick to it. That one there is sweet and hot. I have a teriyaki, sweet and hot, hot, and a fire. Those are the 4 recipes that I have. Just gonna walk you through each one of these batches of what we're putting in it. So for the most part, these recipes, other than teriyaki is the one that's the different. The other ones I usually use the base marinade, but I change up the different sauces that I'm putting in it. Obviously, I want to use an extra hot for this one as opposed to just a hot, and then I have an even hotter marinade for the fire. So this fire one, we're going to use a different marinade, and let's get into that. So same process. We're going to take the meat from here. We're going to rinse it, and we'll put it in some bowls so I can have a marinade. And actually the fire, I'm probably going to put in that one. Yeah, let's put it in that one. So we need to get that meat over here rinsed, and we can put it in these 2 bowls. And I'll probably have to find another one because that's bigger. So anyways, so that's what we're gonna do. That's our next process. This is gonna be for the fire recipe. So first thing, we got our soy sauce. We're gonna dump that in. Next, we have our Worcestershire sauce. There that is. All right, so this is the fire one. This is the marinade that I put in here with it. The Nando's peri peri sauce, however it's pronounced, XX hot. This is I used before. It worked out really well. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and dump this full bottle in, and then I had a partial bottle from the last time I made a batch of it. So same thing. We are going to do that, and then we're gonna run some water in it. That way you get all of your marinade out of it, and a little bit of water is not going to tame it down that much. There's that. Dump our other bottle in. And then this one here, if you want to add water, you can. I'm going to add just a little bit, not very much at all. Maybe like a 1/4 cup plus what I just added. This is the hot, it doesn't water down that much. It's not like it's going to just take all of the flame away from it. Same thing we're going to do again. Now we're going to whisk all this together. Last one, this is pretty much the same thing. We just switched up our sauces, and I don't have sugar in this one, okay? So it's pretty much the same thing, same concoction. But it's still, the flavor is going to be really good. It's just going to be hotter, and it's not going to be sweet. So, same process. We whisk this up really good. That's good. That smells lovely. Being serious. Then what we're going to do, now we got a little bit left there. Here and here. We'll throw all this in here. Same thing, bring it up to a certain point, but then I'm going to have to either find a lid that will just sit over top of it or put some aluminum or something over top of it so just so there's nothing that the air can get to and dry the meat out. So that's the main reason why we do that. So let's get this meat in here, and we will go from there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our fire right there. These two, what I'm going to do, I'll make a little bit smaller batches. One will be hot, the other will be the teriyaki. I think I can fit them in the bowls. If there's anything left extra, I have just a hair bit more room. I can stick some in here. So I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to work on those two marinades, and then we will be done. We'll be ready to stick these bad boys in, that one and that one there, in the fridge. They will be ready to marinate, and they will be delicious. I can't wait. All right, now this is going to be for our hot. There's our soy sauce now. I'll put on here, I'm dumping less, so when you see me putting the other ingredients in, it's gonna be less than what I'm gonna show what you should use, but I'm not gonna have as much meat, so I know I don't need the full recipe, so I'm just gonna cut everything in half. This is for just the hot by itself. I got the extra hot, so I used on the sweet and hot, I used the Frank's Red Hot, just normal. The hot, I use Frank's Red Hot Extra Hot, and then on the fire, we use a totally different brand, the Nando's Peri Peri, whatever it's called, XX Hot. So that's what we used. So let's dump some of this. I'm not using the full amount, but I'm gonna dump a good portion, about 2/3 of this in, I would say. Will be about right. Let's go with that. That looks perfect. And we got our liquid smoke here. 1, 2. So we're just gonna put about 1/2 to 3/4, and that will be what we needed. And then the next one we'll just have the hickory on the whole thing, which will be our teriyaki. So the teriyaki will use the hickory. The other ones we use the mesquite. And you can add a little bit of water if you want to. I am not, because I have limited space, so I am just going to mix this now. Once again, that looks and smells amazing. And then we are going to take, this is one we have already rinsed. I have one more bowl left to rinse, but we're going to take and put this in here. And I may wind up having to move bowls. This bowl might be smaller. All right, that actually fit perfect with just the perfect amount of marinade for that batch. Same thing, we'll get something to put over top of this. All right, this right here is our hot recipe. Now what we're gonna do, we're slide this over here, out of the way. All right, this is our teriyaki. We're gonna pour in our Worcestershire sauce. Once again, I'm doing less than it calls for. I'll show you what I'm usually called for, but I'm doing a smaller batch, but I'm still showing you what's going into it. Here's our teriyaki. Our liquid smoke, not quite as much as the other recipes. And like I said, I'm doing a little less. Here's our soy sauce. Onion powder. Like I said, I'm putting in not what I normally do, so don't sit and try to count what I'm putting in, because it is not what you're normally going to do. All right, now we're going to put some onion powder in here. There's that. Let's get some black pepper here. It said sea salt. For some odd reason, I cannot find mine. So we're just going to go with regular salt. Not the end of the world. Red pepper flakes. And we got some cayenne pepper. Brown sugar. We are going to put, like I said, not as much as we normally would put. We're going to put some syrup. Not syrup. Okay, it's not syrup. It's syrup. Anyways, whatever you want to say it. But we're gonna put some syrup in here. And you can tell with this one when you're eating it compared to the others, obviously we have brown sugar in it, which the other one's gonna be that way, but this one here has a little bit of the syrup. And we're also gonna put some honey, so it makes it a little sticky when you're eating it. It's not bad. I'm just saying you can kind of feel just a little bit with it because of the things that we've put in it. All right, that right there's a wrap. Now we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna take a whisk. Gonna whisk this up, stir it up really, really good. Got that done. Now we're gonna take our meat, put that in there. Push this all down in there really good so it covers it. And you might be saying, what's compacting it? You're not gonna get in between all the meat. Yes, you will. I've done this, like I said, can't tell how many batches I've made, and I've never, ever, one time had anybody come and say, that bag that you sold me or that you gave me, it didn't have any flavor to it at all. Never had that happen. So, just get it, you want it to cover it, that way everything is soaking and marinating in there, which we have going on there. All right, this right here is our teriyaki flavor that we have. So we have teriyaki, we have hot, we have in here this is the sweet and hot, and then in here we have the fire. So this one has a lid. I'm gonna get some foil or something to put over that one, and that one, and we're gonna take it downstairs to the fridge, and they are ready to marinate. We're gonna let it sit in there for at least a day and marinate. Some of it will get a little bit longer because I have a 10 tray dehydrator, and there's no way I can fit all this in there. I already know that. It's probably gonna take me at least 2, maybe 3 batches to get all this done, but we will walk you through that process as well. We've let our jerky here marinate for about a day. You can see what I have here. I have a Cabela's dehydrator. I set mine all the way to 160 on the temperature. It has several different settings that you can set it on, and then you just turn it on. The only thing this one doesn't have that my other one did, my other one had a timer that I did like if you just wanted to set it for an hour or 2, and you could leave the house, walk away, and it would automatically turn off. I did like that, but this one does not have it. But this one's a lot bigger than my other one. So there's my trays. What I will do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna grab it, get as much of the liquid off, and then I'm gonna sit on there. You're still gonna get a lot on there. It's not a big deal, but actually I'm gonna take all these off. I'll set one, I'm gonna fill it up, I'll let it sit there, and I'll stack my decks until I get all 10 of them full, and then we'll put them in here. And the only thing I do once I turn it on is about halfway through I'm gonna rotate the top drawer. I'm gonna put on the top, the top drawer I'm gonna put on the bottom, and then I'm just gonna keep flip-flopping. So pretty much the middle will always stay, and then the top and the bottom's gonna rotate. There's my fan. The fan's in the back, so it circulates the air pretty evenly. I do like that, but obviously heat's gonna rise, so I usually rotate so that way the bottom and the top, because the top will get done a little bit quicker if you don't rotate it. All right, here is all of our jerky. I'm starting to get everything divvied up. Here's our fire. There's our teriyaki. Here's our hot. Here's our sweet and hot. And I'm just starting to divvy it up now into different bags for different friends and family, everybody that loves it when I get it. All right, guys, so I hope this process has helped you. If you have never made jerky, hopefully this will help you. I'll put all the different stuff on here that will be able to allow you to make this yourself. It is very, very good. All flavors are, none of them, and I know I said I have a flavor on here, fire, but it is not like super duper hot, but it is a little hotter than the others. I just called it fire. It's not bad hot, but anyways, so guys, I hope you enjoy this, and as always, why hire a guy when you can DIY? Thanks for watching.